Well, top of the morning to ya. I'm Liam the Leprechaun, and I've got a wee secret to share. ZJZDesigns.com has just unveiled their brand new St. Patrick's Day apparel. Featuring yours truly, of course. From cheeky tees to lucky prints, these designs are brimming with charm and plenty of gold. Whether you're heading to a parade or just feeling the Irish spirit, you look grand in these threads. So what are you waiting for? Skip the rainbow and head straight to ZJZDesigns.com. You'll find the pot of gold in your cart. No magic required. ZJZDesigns.com, where style is always in season.
Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of the podcast, Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks, Bill Kimler. You can also follow him across all social media at Political Bill SC. If you do want to, you can participate in the show. Chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Please follow and subscribe wherever you're hearing us. Let's get started. Bill, how are you?
This is not the show I want anybody to participate in. Not today. Not today.
Yeah,
it was a rough day on my end. We laid my mother-in-law to rest today.
Okay.
And we had this is my wife's mother, of course. That's by definition mother-in-law. And the two of them are about as close as a mother and daughter could be.
Oh, wow.
So it was especially brutal. My poor wife, this is a new world for her now. Her mother had been ill with liver disease for 2 years, and it just got progressively worse and worse and worse. And she and her mother's husband were essentially her caretaker, for the last year or so. And so it's all come to this. She had died on January 2nd, and today was the funeral service, which was very lovely, by the way, and full house, lots of respect, lots of love, but it doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
Just a rough day. And then the reason why I'm on the computer as opposed to my phone is that my phone battery is nearly dead. I paid no attention to it all day, and it just died a slow death, so I couldn't use my normal stand. But then I get home from all of that, having been disconnected from the news all day, to the fucking disgusting news coming out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And even more disgusting responses from our so-called state leaders and those running for governor here in South Carolina. It's got me in a mood that is not the greatest. So you're not getting fun, Bill, today. We're getting Bill in a funk.
I can't blame you.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed the news, or you have somehow found a spot under a rock and not invited Bill and I to,
really, the only excuse you would have for not following this is if you are also burying your mother-in-law or somebody dear to you.
Well, you still
otherwise
picked
it's
up on
plastered.
Yeah.
Only after I got home did I catch it.
So basically, there was a fatal shooting. ICE shot a woman who was in her car.
In the face, Barrett.
Yeah.
In the fucking face, they shot her.
Yeah. This is it's disgusting, and I think Tim Walz's response to it is exactly what I would want to see out of a governor trying to protect its citizens, and that is potentially to call up the 13,000 National Guardsmen and airmen to protect his state. And the atrocity of it is what happened in this woman's death, who did nothing that I could see was wrong. I can't even preface that with, the officer felt like he was in danger. No, this was an officer that was standing in front of the vehicle. The woman had her wheels turned to the right, trying to get out of harm's way, because she could tell. I could tell that it was escalating just based on the video, and the video is horrifying. There are multiple different video perspectives of it, and not a single one of them paints this officer as being in any danger. And he shot through the windshield at her face, and I don't even understand what happened after that, because she did drive and then drove into another vehicle and then into a power pole or a telephone pole.
I'm surprised they didn't charge her for reckless driving
Right.
after being shot in the face.
Right.
That's the kind of force and government we're dealing with now.
The opportunity to drag her out in the street and handcuff her lifeless body, to me, would have been an opportunity.
They essentially did. There was I don't know if you've seen this video of a doctor trying to reach the woman, saying, "I am a medical doctor, let me check on her," and he was refused entry by those same fucking ICE officers. And he just happened to be a bystander there and was trying to get to the patient and was refused access.
Yeah.
And
this is the Gestapo, right? I mean, that's essentially what ICE is a undeputized law enforcement, a pseudo law enforcement group that basically has free will to do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. Doesn't have to operate within the realm of justice or what is it, jurisprudence or prudence, whatever. There's no, and so far, unless the DA of Minnesota somehow files charges against this one officer, but it wasn't just one officer involved. All of the officers allowed this to escalate, and in the end, I'm hoping that there is prosecution, and
the prosecution shouldn't be just of the ICE officer. That prosecution needs to go up to Kristi Noem, and all the way up top. It should be treated as if she pulled the trigger herself.
Sure, I agree.
And then I go, again, doom scrolling through Facebook, and I see Nancy Mace and Alan Wilson here in South Carolina tripping over themselves to praise Trump, to say, send in the National Guard, Minnesota is out of control, wishing the ICE officer a speedy fucking recovery, and that the woman should have complied, or she was part of the problem, or she put the officers' lives in danger and they responded as they were trained. They saw the same video and are gaslighting the people who are too lazy to see for themselves.
I'm curious, what is the documented training for an ICE officer? Because I haven't found whatever that training is.
It's
the only
basically
thing I've seen,
questionnaire. It's a questionnaire. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's basically one question. Are you a dick?
Yeah.
And if you sign yes, then you're in.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And then become dicks with guns.
Former actor, Superman portrayer, Dean Cain, showed there was video of him doing some sort of what looked like a jungle yard sort of pass run through, where he injured himself. Not the fucking Superman I signed up for, but I agree. I don't think that there's almost no training that is at least documented that shows that these officers are put through any sort of like moral training. Like with most of your police officers, your sheriff's officers, sheriff's deputies, things like that, the intent of law enforcement is to protect and serve. And the first part of that is to protect. And ICE doesn't have that sort of motivation at all. And I think this just proves that it doesn't matter if you are brown skin or white skin or dark skin or whatever, that if you show any opposition to them, they're going to potentially just use lethal force. That's where we're at. So we have I don't know how many members there are of ICE, 15, 20, 30,000 or whatever, but we have a group of people that are basically running around with lethal weapons that are untrained, that don't have a specific motivation to what their job is supposed to be. They're bullies, and they went.
At some point, shots are going to be fired back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Shots will be fired back, and they will not. I am fearful for this country, but it's come to a point where the federal government, this administration, and the evil people that put them into power have changed this country into everything we fought against for decades prior.
Yeah. What if this is the plan? What if the intent is to unsettle things so much? And I'm not saying that Trump is capable of an actual plan, but what if this is the plan to create a scenario where at some point the executive branch of the federal government issues a martial law and we get stuck having to check ourselves out of our homes, to go to the grocery store, to go get gas, or to go to work, and like, what if this is the plan? Because I've read 1984. I mean, there's such a dystopian path that we're on right now, and frankly, I've discussed it before, but we have plans to potentially leave if we cross a line, and that's no election in 2028. And there are people that think I'm crazy for even thinking that we wouldn't have an election, but I think that this potentially leads to that. If there's martial law or there's some sort of civil unrest, Donald Trump, who in your prognosis is still going to be alive, I think he's going to be dead. But what if the Republicans that are in charge, that this is what they want? Because then martial law, then no election, and then they just retain power for as long as they want. I don't see a good outcome to this. I'd like for everyone in this administration to be arrested and put up on charges of treason against the United States once this regime is done. But, we're going after dictators in Venezuela, but we're not going after literal crime lords in Israel. Like Benjamin Netanyahu hasn't been kidnapped out of his home and taken to The Hague and tried for war crimes and everything else he's committed. Putin sits in any one of his 40 different, enormous mansions.
Oh, he's out there saluting Kim Jong-un.
Right.
I mean, they're writing love letters to each other.
Yeah. I mean,
please.
It's insane. And, my heart goes out to the family of this woman who was brutally murdered in public by our federal government. By one officer representing the federal government, but all of the officers that are ICE agents.
You think this is going to spark a similar movement across the country akin to Black Lives Matter?
I think so. I think it's entirely possible that we could that as quickly as we saw Black Lives Matter pick up. I think it's possible. My hope is that there is some sort of public outrage, but it doesn't turn Trump or any of his administration. Stephen Miller is probably jerking off to this right now, as disgusting as that is.
Yeah,
he is sitting in a chair somewhere, pleasuring himself.
Barrett.
With his little devil penis.
Barrett. I don't want to imagine Stephen Miller playing with his tweezers.
No, leave that image out of your head. Leave the image out of your head. And to that I sip. I'm
What was that, from the 24th anniversary bottle?
No. That's downstairs. That's on display downstairs, by the way. Thank you very much. Bill gave me a very lovely Christmas gift this year of the 24th anniversary of The Lord of the Rings, which, in 2025 was 2001 was a big deal when the Fellowship of the Ring came out.
I remember when 9/11 hit. It was just a dumb thought, and you can't really be held accountable for every dumb thought that comes across your head. But, in the midst of all the other worries from my little kids at the time, and they were, 5 and younger, in the midst of worrying about our country and were we headed towards another global war, I was also worried that Fellowship of the Ring wasn't going to get released. Like 9/11 in 2001, I'm thinking that there's no way that, the Lord of the Rings series is going to stop. Or maybe I was worried more about the Two Towers at that point. I don't remember, but it was just some of those dumb things because it was that monumental of a film for me, and I'd been following its creation for years. And hell, here it comes, and then those towers came down, and I'm like, what about Frodo? Just, some dumb thoughts.
It was 2001. I was here in Columbia. I had just moved here, and I remember 9/11, and Columbia is not the hub of travel. I mean, it's not like we have tons of airplanes flying in and out. a lot of the airplanes flying in and out, because I know and I hear them because they're 900 feet above my house. That it's usually UPS and FedEx and Postal Service or
The
whatever. But
very
I remember
first
that
time
night. Yeah,
I've ever came to South Carolina was flying into Columbia.
yeah.
2013, I think.
Okay.
And it was to go on a first date with my now wife,
Oh, that's right.
believe it or not.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I just remember 9/11 not seeing a single plane in the plane in the
Yeah.
sky. That was an eerie feeling. But
In our best of episode today, I replayed the interview that I had with Carolyn and Philip Dennis, the
Yeah.
two that were on a plane flying over the ocean back to the United States as the events of 9/11 unfolded, and they were diverted to a little town called Gander, Newfoundland, along with 39 other full jumbo jet planes to this tiny little island in the middle of nowhere. And it just reminded me what a fascinating story that was. I got to relive
it was
that
incredible.
just this morning.
Incredible. And you're going to go see the play, the musical.
We saw it.
You did see it. How was it?
So we didn't see the one that was mentioned in the episode because that was just too soon and it had passed. But apparently, back in August, there was a locally produced version of Come From Away in Greenville at this theater. It was across the street from the Peace Center. I forget what it's called. Some nice smaller theater seated about 200, I think. But they did the whole performance of Come From Away, and Jamil and I got a chance to go and see it. And then Philip and Carolyn were actually interviewed on stage afterwards, where they relayed some of their experience. Of course, Jamil and I did a better job, but they tried. Those producers tried. But it was Barrett. It was the first time I'd ever seen it in full, and it was such an emotional roller coaster. I walked out of there exhausted, both cried several times throughout, both out of sadness and happiness and just goosebumps, and the songs and the performances, everything about Come From Away. I'm not a guy for musicals. I really, give me a play. Stop singing. Just say what you're going to say. But this musical was something special, absolutely special. And especially now that I know two people that actually lived it, you got to catch it. I don't know. They don't do an official production anymore. It's now licensed out to local theaters for production. And if it ever happens again, you got to catch it.
Yeah. We have several theaters around town that pick up those licensed ones. That hopefully, if I see that come up on the billing, then I will definitely attend that. I don't want to dwell, but I think it's just important just to keep reiterating that, we are currently living in what is and while martial law hasn't been, I guess, proclaimed, I don't think people should look on this lightly and just accept that this happened to this woman in Minnesota.
The spin, Donald. Have you seen Donald Trump's Truth post about it?
I didn't.
He wrote, I don't want to read it word for word, but I'll paraphrase. He says, I just watched the video, and obviously the woman with the camera who was recording it was a professional agitator.
God.
And the woman put the officers in danger, and the officers took appropriate steps for self-defense, and he wished them speedy recovery. I mean, you talk about this being the dumbest timeline. And I just got done watching the whole Stranger Things series, and we're living in the upside down. It's literally where they can say you can look at something, know exactly what happened, and then say the exact opposite happened. That's what they're doing. Did you see the recent report they came out with about January 6th?
Yeah,
like the White House has now spun it that it was caused by Capitol Police.
Yeah, the actual insurrection was caused by Democratic agitators. That the insurrection by definition now is the fact that the Senate was the House and the Senate were holding their votes. That they were certifying the election. That was the insurrection. So constitutionally, we've had 47 separate insurrections throughout the course of 46, I guess, because Washington didn't have a certification. But yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. Because you can't, the juxtaposition of recognizing truth and being able to vomit out a lie based on that truth is insane. How do you hold that perspective? How do the people that support this bullshit hold that perspective and brush their teeth at, well, maybe not. Get dental cleanings or, whatever, like go tie their shoes, pour milk in a glass. How do they do these normal things without there being some repercussion of reality hitting them and going, fuck, I actually thought that the police officers were the ones that were the problem. That's weird. And now, of course, ICE is the problem, but I
wouldn't call them police officers.
No, you can't.
They should not sully the name of the police force by using that term.
I saw a video that was recorded after the shooting today. It popped up on my feed after the shooting. I don't know if it happened, if the video was taken after the shooting or before, but it was in Minnesota and it was cold and snowy. So I assume it was recent. But it was a guy who was recognized by his eyes and the tattoo that's on his neck behind his ear, because he was in some video of, I think it was the shooting, and he was being berated by this guy. That the guy was telling him, "Get out of our town. I recognize you. I recognize your eyes. I recognize your beard. I recognize your." And it's not a swastika or an SS tattoo, but it is. I want to say it's the Iron Cross, and it's right behind his ear. And this is a guy that represents the federal government as an ICE agent that's out here, doing crime, as far as I'm concerned.
And, there's no background checks. I think the only way to deal with this, I think we brought this up before, is for good people to infiltrate ICE.
Yeah, I agree.
And be spread out among these agents, and when shit like this happens, they can turn and defend the citizens.
John Barenthal as the Punisher, I think, would make an excellent anti-ICE agent inside of the ICE organization.
We definitely need some de-icing.
Yeah, that's a good phrase. I like that. De-ice it. I did pull up some interesting things that have gone on in the last 48 hours that I thought would be interesting to talk about.
I'm fucking exhausted. I don't even know if I want to hear these things.
Well, this one,
every day is a news article or an event that puts us on the edge of catastrophe.
Yeah.
Were we about to get into war with Russia over a stupid oil tanker that the United States pirated?
It's as good a reason as any, right? Like, it's all stupid.
One of those tankers that left Venezuela with the Russian flag painted on the side, and then Russia sent their subs to escort it. The United States attempted to capture it anyway. I don't know if they were successful or not, because I went to this funeral and then a lady got shot in the face to knock that other headline off. So I don't even know what's happened to this tanker.
How desperate is Russia for heavy crude oil that they're going to spend money on fuel for submarines that they don't have to bring to get a ship safely to the Arctic Sea to get this crude oil? Like, how desperate is that? That people always ask me, or I've had people ask me in the past, well, do you fear Russia shooting a ballistic missile at us with a nuclear warhead? No, I don't, because I don't believe that Russia even has the fuel to fill a ballistic missile, to make an intercontinental ballistic missile, to make it to the United States. I just don't think that world exists. We're talking about an extremely broke country, and I don't think that Putin or any of his oligarchs are going to dip into their pockets to put fuel into a rocket. I just don't. Which sounds, safe to me, but at the same time, they're going to send submarines to protect an oil tanker that has to traverse 13,000 miles. Like, there are pipelines for this shit, right? Don't we have? Aren't there pipelines that crisscross the Mediterranean and the Atlantic?
We're now in the part of the conversation where we're just making shit up now.
Are we?
I think we are. I don't know.
Well,
as long as you say it with a straight face, and it adds an air of authenticity to it.
I once convinced a woman that buffalo wings were the product of nuclear testing, where chickens and buffaloes were crossed.
Yeah, I tell you, I convinced a lady today with a dumb story like that. Just, this is after the funeral, and we're all outside in the parking lot talking with family and friends, and there's just dozens of them all around. So I'm talking to one of my wife's work friends, and we were talking about organ donations and organ transplants, and I said, because my mother-in-law had died of liver failure and was not eligible for an organ because she just was too weak to get on the list. But I said, I hope they come with the technology where they can just culture grow organs. And, I said, recently I saw where they're using pig kidneys to, insert them into people that, because there's such a deficit of organs out there, they're actually using pig kidneys. And you're laughing like that's the joke. It's not. You can look that up.
Yeah.
And actually there was a guy that lived for months with a pig kidney running the show. And then I add, here's the funny part, I add with the straight face, and I says, and he had no side effects except he had a constant hunger for bacon. And then I keep talking, and she looks at me like, what? I go, are you serious? I go, yeah, bacon. He just couldn't eat enough bacon. I mean,
insatiable.
And she bought that hook, line, and sinker just because you keep a straight face. You keep a straight face, and you have this air of authority about you, then they'll believe anything. Well, but I told her everything was true except the bacon part. I made that up.
Mine came back to bite me because I didn't clarify at the end that I was just kidding. And we were literally sitting at a pizza wing place for dinner that night because we were going to Salisbury, North. I worked for NCR at the time. And we were going on a training trip to Food Lion technical support because we were going to be training them on some of the new software that we were doing for their help desk. And on the road trip up, I convinced this woman that, Buffalo Wild Wings were from chicken and buffalo, and not that they were invented or that they began being sold as a byproduct in Buffalo, New York. Anyway, so I convinced her of this, but I never cleared it up that I was kidding. We're sitting at dinner, and one of the executives for Food Lion is sitting with us, and she goes, I heard today, I didn't know this before, but that buffalo wings are a byproduct of, of this incident, this nuclear testing. And I hear her, and I turn, and I'm looking at the executive CEO of Food Lion or whoever, and I'm just like, oh shit. I very quickly.
Gruber is the source of fake news.
Yeah, I very quickly walked over, got out of my chair, walked over. I said, Bernadette, I was just kidding.
Listen, there's just some dumb people out there. I was up north visiting family, and I was talking to an extended family member, not somebody directly related. You remember that snowstorm that hit here in the South that caused havoc all over, like over in Atlanta? 85 was a parking lot, and people were stuck there overnight, and Chick-fil-A came and delivered meals to every car. And so I was telling people about that story up north, where it snows all the time. And I said, they got an inch of snow and 14,000 people died in the Atlanta area as a result. Now, I said that not being serious. I just said 14,000 as an exaggeration as to how ill-prepared the South is for a little bit of snow. But this one lady looked at me and went, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't hear about that on the news. She's like, that's horrible. 14,000. I mean, I didn't even stop. I didn't even correct her. I go, listen, you're that dumb to not understand that this was an exaggeration. Then you deserve to have that fact stuck in your brain. And I don't want to hear about it.
Well, before we wrap up tonight, I do want to ask you, is there anything you wouldn't like, obviously I have some weight that I could shed. I don't, but I have gone through some pretty extreme ways of losing weight very quickly. Recently, I learned that there's this guy that apparently went on a sardine diet where he ate 1,000 sardines over the course of the month. Over a month, he lost 6 pounds. But I wanted to ask you if is there any one canned food that you think that you could eat for an entire month, ignoring what potential harm may come? Is there any one food that you could potentially
Was
eat?
it canned food or is it any food?
Yeah, it was. This is canned food. I'm asking about
so
specifically canned food.
Or if we're narrowing it down to canned food, I would survive on baked beans.
Okay, that's fair. Protein.
I mean, I would not want to be a member of this house.
Well, they wouldn't want you to be
living with me after a month of eating baked beans. But I mean, like you, I got a New Year's resolution where my goal is to drop 30 pounds this year.
30? Where are you going to lose 30 pounds from? Just so people know,
from the 245 fucking pounds that I got, I got 30 pounds to lose, brother.
I don't see it. Bill is like, what are you, 6'2"?
6'1"?
6'1"?
Put it in the BMI chart. 6'1", 245.
So 20.
That has me that's morbidly obese. Pop it in.
And I believe you. It
really does. It is. I'm not in a good spot. But I figured the way I'm going to do it is a pound a week. Like a pound a week seems slow, reasonable. Last week I was 245. This week I'm 244. Next week I'll be 243. I'm not starving myself. I'm not going on any crazy diet. When I get down to 230, I'm going to start running again.
Okay.
I don't want to run at 245 and kill my knees and ankles. But yeah, I see it. I feel it. I'm trending in a terrible direction. Just for reference, I weighed 210 in 2022 after my kidney donation surgery. That was probably the lowest weight I had been in. And then it was just a steady climb of 10 pounds a year after that. And that's not good. So I need to get back down.
My sister Lorian, who is watching, says that there is nope. There is nothing that she would. There's nothing she would stick to. And my sister's pretty health conscious.
I thought she was saying nope to spending a month in the house with me on a baked beans diet.
That that could have been too.
I think that's what she was referring to.
I wanted to assume the context of her comment. No, I've done. I mean, right now I'm doing intermittent fasting, and so from 6 p.m. at night till 12 p.m. the next day, the only thing I'll have when I wake up in the morning is my coffee and my pills, which don't require a meal. So the intermittent fasting, the first couple of days are difficult, but once I get into it, and I do it steady, it's pretty easy to do. And then, me and the girls will go walk the neighborhood. My sister says, I think all the cans are lined with poisonous microplastics. Probably not wrong. That is, it's probably true.
At this point, the air we breathe is lined with microplastics. It's something we're just going to all live with. I don't know that there's anything else you can do about it.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. But no, I'm it's I've done the intermittent fasting before, and it's worked pretty well for me. You're trying to lose. I do
intermittent gluttony. I mean, just every once in a while, stick my face in the trough and pound away.
I am looking forward to CES ending. A lot of the stuff, what is it? What is CES? It's the Consumer Electronic.
I thought the CES was on its way out because I
did too.
Reading that major technology companies were not participating, but it seems to have been making a comeback.
I'll tell you the thing that I am the least interested in, and I get that a lot of people aren't the same mentality as me. I don't give two shits about the Meta glasses or the Meta display glasses or whatever. Like anything Facebook Meta,
So you don't give two shits. Would you give a single shit?
Potentially.
Okay. So you give a shit, you just don't give two shits.
Yeah. If it's slightly more liquidy, then am I giving it to them? I don't know. But a lot of AI stuff I'm seeing coming out of CES this year.
I got to tell you, this whole AI thing is just the image creation of it. And I studied data science for a while. I studied large language models. I have a basic understanding of, the language aspect, the conversational aspect. the image creation just blows me the fuck away.
Yeah, it is, right?
And I'm using it a lot lately. I've got a new social media project I've embarked on about 2 weeks ago. I haven't even told you about it yet. But I've got another social media presence out there that I created out of the blue, and I've got it on 6 different platforms now, and been posting content and starting to gain traction. And once I have enough, I'll reveal it to you. It's not. It's very interesting, but it's an idea I'd been kicking around my head, and the new year spurned me to get it started. So,
is your alternate personality the Prince in UK or anything, or like
no,
normal person, just AI?
I'm not going to say what it is yet,
right. Okay.
but I'm making a lot of use of AI imagery to help convey messages.
Interesting. Okay.
So so I've been making heavy use of ChatGPT for image creation, and it's producing some high quality stuff.
Yeah.
And you get the hang of what kind of prompts would yield the better results, but the results are like, wow, this is perfect. And I couldn't be happier. I love Freckleface 1981.
She said, I was distracted by Ned Flanders in the sky suit on the shelf.
Extra bonus points if you know what that Ned Flanders in the ski suit is from. What episode or what clip. That is a famous clip. I'll say that my daughter made that for me. Can you see it from where you're sitting, Barrett? Is it nice and clear?
See it. Yeah, I can see it.
All right. My daughter made that for me as a Christmas gift one year. She cross-stitched it. And it came from a clip where Homer was imagining Ned Flanders in his mind, and Ned's showing off his tight ski suit, right? And the quote from Homer was "Stupid, sexy Flanders," and it's just the funniest quote in the world. And so my daughter turned that into a cross stitch, which I display proudly. I've got. You don't normally see my office because it's a work in progress. But I didn't have any option today, having to go to the laptop. So you're getting to see my mess in all its fine glory, but it'll become more interesting as I get organized.
I have been asked in comments if I'm going to clean up the mess on my boards and whatnot behind me. And at this point, the answer is no. It's not going to happen. At best.
I'm just waiting for my face to appear back there. Like I see all of these logos of all of your podcasts and big media except mine.
Well, see, your podcast is permanently on the banner, but it's permanently on the. Yeah, you're right. All right, I'll take care of that. We'll take care of that.
That's actually damn embarrassing now that I think about it. We're the biggest revenue generating podcast for you.
There it is. There it is.
Man, embarrassing.
That's all right. I'll get you taken care of. I'll make it bigger than theirs. It will only be 1% bigger, but I'll make it bigger than theirs. I gotta get Emily and Erica and Kirsten back in the studio to record at some point because they've been off for a little while. So I gotta make that happen.
I tell you, when you're off, it is tough to get started back up.
It is. Yeah. Well, and see, like with the All About Nothing podcast, we almost always record. We have episodes in queue for like this coming Monday.
Your winter break was a rarity. I don't recall you ever taking time off or going weeks without a fresh episode.
Well,
that was new this year.
Yeah, we technically only went 1 week. We only had one Monday pass.
It seemed like forever,
didn't it? Yeah, it did. It did, honestly, and truly, because we don't have that buffer episode that like we haven't recorded the episode for Monday yet, and the likelihood is it's probably just gonna be me and Zach catching up on, events, which, hopefully there will be free speech available to do that, but we aren't going to be prosecuted for something we say. So
I want to know what files are out there on me.
That's a good question.
I mean, I first of all, would I be insulted if there were no files? Yes. Right? Like I feel like having run for office twice, having been the leader of a local Democratic Party, having been a public figure, having an immense social media presence, immense. I mean, it's not nothing, but I do a lot on social media that if I don't have a file on me, I'd be disappointed.
I keep pages on you, Bill.
That
they aren't
doesn't count.
digitized
Okay.
yet, but no. No, I agree. That's, I know that I know that, everything I have is public because I don't care. But like, is there somewhere like an Alan Wilson does he have a department or an office somewhere that's keeping track of, local insubordinates? Is
Potential rabble rousers. Are you on a watch list?
Yeah. And you know what? It's entirely possible, but Alan Wilson is so good at sweeping things under the rug that
sounds like a topic for another episode. I want to hear all about it.
All right.
If we make it to another episode.
That's right. If Monday comes and goes and we're not here, you know what happened. Or you don't.
It's probably because I forgot, almost like I did tonight.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can follow Bill at Political Bill SC and myself at Barrett Gruber. Thank you very much for liking and hitting that bell. And if you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
Don't do it based on this episode. So save the 5-star in the comment for like the next episode. This was a dark episode. I wasn't feeling it today.
That's fair.
So don't rate us based on this.
And if you're of the type that sends out good vibes or prayers or good thoughts, send them Bill's way.
If you like stupid, sexy Flanders, give us 5 stars.
We'll there you go. That's right. But Bill, I am sorry for your all's loss.
Thanks.
And regardless of whether or not you see it coming, it still hurts. So I get it. So
that's true.
All right, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. The preceding podcast is solely owned by the host or hosts and is distributed by Big Media LLC. Copyright 2026.